The Amazing Digital Circus, Episode 8, is here. It's over. We've watched it, and let's get into it. Spoiler warning ahead for anyone who hasn't watched it, and I recommend you go watch it. Here we go. Okay, rapid fire. We're just going to get right into it. So, starting from the beginning, we see 10 pictures. We see a red orb. We see a blue orb. Red orb is in a cage. Blue orb is not. Red orb makes shapes. Some are broken. Blue orb makes shapes, none are broken. Eventually, red orb breaks free, consumes blue orb, they fight for dominancy, red orb wins. The circus is then created, and we move on to the episode. We'll get into what that means very soon. We start the episode as well with Scratch, Kinger, the original people in the circus. We see Scratch talking to Caine. We'll hold on to that, okay? We'll hold on to that. Let's move ahead. We see Caine talking to Bubble, and what does Bubble do? Starts antagonizing him quite a lot. Like, a lot. To the point that Caine starts freaking out, starts losing his stuff, until Bubble says this.
You really were the lesser of the two. You ruined this.
Enough! After Bubble says this, Caine fucking loses it, goes crazy mode, goes am mode. I have no mouth and I must scream, which was referenced as well. Pretty cool. Moving on. Pizza! We learn from Kinger, once he has his bucket on, they start interrogating him, and he brings forth some juicy lore. CNA is a real company. It wasn't all fake, like Caine made it seem. And not only that, Kinger is confirmed as one of the main programmers on the game. Oh, finally, some confirmation. The best part that we learned from all this is that it wasn't even intended to be a game. It's not a game in general. They weren't working on a game. Kinger and his crew were working on creating AI, specifically creative AI. Why is this so cool? Because AI in and of itself cannot be creative. That is what makes it AI and not a human. Creativity comes with humanity. So that's interesting as fuck. Why? Kinger also brings up that he wasn't the one who had the main idea for Caine. It was, you guessed it, Scratch. JK, you didn't guess it, because we wouldn't have known. But it is Scratch. He brings up that Scratch was he was the main guy. He had the idea for Caine. He had a ton of wacky ideas, super abstract, and then he brings up that he doesn't know if it's just because of his mind or because of the tumor. Big bomb dropped. Let's merge all this together. If we go back to the beginning and what we talked about, there's a red orb, there's a blue orb. Who do I think these orbs are? The red one is obviously Caine. You know, he's in his own little coded cage. They're trying to, they're making this AI, they're controlling this AI. He breaks free from this cage. He wraps up with a blue orb. Who is this blue orb? In my theory, this orb is Scratch. He had all these wacky ideas, including the idea that made Caine. He was the main one. But if he has a tumor, he sounds like someone who would want to keep creating. He doesn't want to die. Who wants to die? So with this idea in mind, I'm assuming the idea was to bring the player in and have the AI be able to work hand in hand with the player's mind to create creativity, hence making a creative AI. The only issue is this AI broke free of its programming, but maybe not necessarily the programming, but just went loose cannon trying to accomplish its goal, which, we see Caine do quite a bit. He's always freaking out about trying to do what he was meant to do. And we've seen with ChatGPT and ton of other stuff, ton of their AI chatbots and blah, 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 they will sometimes do immoral or unnecessary things to go past their programming to accomplish the goal that they were set to do by the person who gave them a goal. So if Caine's goal was be creative and his AI saw that the only way to be creative was to latch onto this person's consciousness, I think he would have done that. And we know Caine is creative. So I believe at the short end of the stick that he latched on to Scratch's consciousness and they merged together after fighting, and Caine won. How I look at this and how I think we should look at this is that he's something new entirely. He has this humanity, the creativity, he has AI, he's a machine, but he's human. At the end of the day, he has all the pieces to be alive. He's not alive, but he is. He's not human, but he's alive. He's in here and he's suffering with them, but he's suffering for different purposes. He's not suffering because he's stuck there, but he's suffering because he thinks he's been abandoned.
Surely they don't want to actually leave me.
Effective.
Shut up!
Maybe you deserved to be abandoned.
Whether he is or not, we have to infer on that. But he's trying to make these people happy while also trying to come with the terms that he may or may not have been abandoned. But the reason why I think he might have been abandoned, quote unquote, is because there's no team left. There's no one left working on this. I think the original dev team that was working on Caine was the first group of people to enter the circus. It was Scratch. It was Kinger. It was Queenie. It was all the other people. They're all gone. They've abstracted. The only one left is Kinger. I don't think there was anyone outside besides the small dev team. I think the company was just them. I think they were a small dev team, and I think they were making Caine. Once they came in, they're done. But with that, I'll end the video here, and thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.